as it turns out, you are what you seek. You just don't know it. You know, your own inner light is actually what you're seeking. You just need a way to get there, a way to calm your mind and senses and heart down so that you can be present to what you already are.
Hello, Sondra.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for answering my call.
Thank you for getting back to me. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Hmm. So this podcast is called Awakening Now. And here I talk to people about what is awakening, what happened in your life, how you define that. So can we start from what is your definition of awakening? What does this word mean to you? So we are on the same page, please.
Mm. Well, awakening implies that maybe you were asleep to something. So
Mhm.
maybe you were under you were under maybe ignorance, or you were just not awake, you were sleeping. So it means you come from one state into another is how I would define it, as in maybe you were one way and then something occurred and you undertook maybe a transformation and you woke up to some understanding or some inner inner light.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. So can you share a little bit with us um, your story? What happened? Your experience of awakening?
Mm, sure, sure. So it wasn't an overnight process. Like for me, it wasn't it and it continues to not be an event that happens. It is an unfolding. So it's happened little by little over time, um, practicing with meditation and mindfulness and attitude. And it occurs a little over time where I've just become better and better friends with myself and more um, more friends with my outer world and my inner world. And it's happened a little bit over time, you know?
Yeah, I so resonate with that. For me, awakening is now. That's the only place for
Mhm.
being awake or being present or being here. So
Yep,
it's
it's right
ongoing.
now.
It's ongoing. It's not like,
Hmm.
sometimes people say, oh, awakening happened 10 years ago. And I can see that because there was some kind of initial recognition, initial shift. And since then, it's here. Like it's now and now and
Hmm.
now. It's not like something happened and now I'm awake. No, it's awake now. That's how I see it.
Yep, the eternal moment of now.
Mm.
Hmm.
So, do you remember that moment? Like when this initial recognition happened? Just curious.
Well, I think for me, it's been happening over time since practicing and studying. And um, I think this last year I was in India
Mm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there many, many times for practice and study. And I undertook a practice called the Shri Sukta, which is a prayer to the Divine Mother.
Mm.
And I'm in a group of a sangha,
Mm-hmm.
and my teacher is Pandit Rajmani Tiganayat. And just being so they have a place where we practice in India, and I was there, and I think another awakening happened there, or
Oh,
just this inner light, inner love from within, just kind of um, made itself known to me inside.
oh, that's
Um,
beautiful.
so yeah.
Mm. Like when something like that happens, there's no language. There's nothing even, not even a way to describe it.
There's not. There's not a lot of language, and yet I would say, like you, once having had that, it never goes away. it's with you always. It becomes you. And at least in your conscious mind, you understand, like, oh, I'm never alone. Consciousness is always with me.
Mm,
So,
that's it.
and mhm.
And I can see you are shiny.
Thank you. So are you.
Yay!
Shiny.
Shine away. Cool.
So, mhm.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you do? I mean, do you assist people? Do you work with people? What's happening there?
I do. I recently wrote the book, The Four Attitudes, The Alchemy of an Open Heart and a Calm Mind, which came from my time in India, and practice of those four attitudes, which are compassion, joy, friendliness, and non-judgment. They're from the Yoga Sutra 133.
Mhm.
So I wrote this book as a way for just like everyday people who maybe aren't deep into the practice of yoga or spirituality to approach these noble attitudes with ease in their everyday life.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Can you tell
mhm.
more about each of these attitudes? It's very interesting.
Sure.
Mhm.
So the first one is friendliness, Mayatri. And Mayatri is probably one of the hardest attitudes to practice because we understand what it means to be friends and to be friendly. But Mayatri is about becoming friends with yourself and making friends with your mind at
Oh,
deep,
yes.
deep levels. So, you know, and extending friendliness to those who are happy, those who suffer, those who um, are maybe not as happy. So, friendliness is a beautiful, beautiful attitude, and yet it can be challenging to practice.
I
Um,
agree. And can I just interrupt you a little bit and say that
yeah,
as I work with people, I find that a lot of people are not friendly with their own minds. It's like it's an enemy, or there is something to get rid of, or something to discipline, or, you know, it's not seen as a friend. So
yeah,
can you tell a little bit more about how to become a friend with your own mind? What?
yes. So, a friend with your own mind, first of all, you got to be able to engage with your breathing.
Ah,
So, your breath is obviously there are three companions on this road we call life, and they are body, breath, and mind. And linking those three together, the body and the mind, can really be with the breath. So, the mind can be elusive. It wanders far and wide when it is awake. It rotates, it roams, it revolves, and it does what it does. Like I watched one of your YouTube channel sessions, and you talked about the ocean, and
yeah.
that the ocean is. I love that one because the mind can be much like that, right? It can be all over the place. But when we use our breathing, particularly through our nose, we can link and have our mind linked to something that's actually really real for us right now. We're not imagining it, we're experiencing the breath. So when we put these three great beings together, body, breath, and mind, then that's when we can start to practice. Oh, there's something more here that can be a friend, right? We are gifted breath. We did nothing to earn it. We're gifted a body. We didn't work for that body. We didn't work for this consciousness. Something gave us all of these beautiful tools to experience this beautiful life. And so that's how I'd say you want to start with breathing and kindness towards yourself and kindness in your thought. So,
Wow, I never heard this said like that. It's very interesting. Yeah, because yes, there's body, there's mind. I would also include the heart or emotional part
mhm.
as also part of this system, as well as
It
spiritual.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
And I know that breath is the only way to affect your heartbeat. Like
That's right.
if you breathe in slow, the heartbeat is slowing down. Or if you breathe fast, your heartbeat goes up. That's the only way to consciously affect the heart.
Yep,
That's quite
exactly.
interesting. Yeah. But it also has effect on the mind and on the body. And yeah, it's very nice that you find that breath as a friend, like you said. Beautiful.
Breath is a great companion, the friend.
Mm.
And if you can't make your mind your friend at first, because maybe your mind is unruly, I'm speaking to anyone listening, of course, not you. uh, it is like your breath can be the gateway in because it's something tangible for you right now. And if you work with just the five qualities of breathing, which are um, slow, deep, even, continuous, and silent.
Slow down. Slow, deep,
Slow,
even.
even. Even means inhale and exhale are the same.
Same. Continuous.
Slow, deep, continuous means there's no pause between inhale and exhale.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And this one?
Slow, deep, even, quiet.
Quiet.
So it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So you're becoming friends with the qualities of your breath first. That's where we begin. Um, and then whatever your mind's doing, your mind is doing. And um, it can bring you back to present moment. Like you speak of awakening as a moment of now. Well, what's here with us now? Our breath, our body, our mind,
Yay.
our heart. Yep.
That's a very quick way to get out of imagined into the real, isn't it?
Yeah. Imagination is such a beautiful human um, quality, right? And look at all the things we can do with our imagination. Look at all the inventions that have happened and all the things, all the places. And when we're learning to breathe and be mindful, with our breathing, imagination is the nation of images.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're we're wanting to calm down everything and kind of quiet the central nervous system, quiet the heart rate. And so just breathing and not necessarily um, coming up with something from the imagination.
Yeah. I
Yep.
think it's very important to recognize the difference between what is actually here and what is not, which means what is in the imagination.
Hmm. For sure.
Because sometimes it gets so crazy in the mind because the mind is looking for something real in imagination and it cannot find. And then it goes a little bit crazy, let's call it that, or suffering because it keeps looking for something real and it cannot find it.
Hmm.
But
That's right.
yeah, but the exit is through the breath, as you say, just breathe and you are here.
And you're here. You're right where you are.
You feel what you feel, you see what you see, and this
Hmm.
is real.
This is real. That's right. Mhm.
Okay, so that was being friendly, being kind. What was the other
Yep.
two?
Um, friendliness, compassion.
Compassion.
So compassion is karuna.
Mhm.
That's the Sanskrit word for compassion. And compassion has so many deep layers, but particularly compassion gives us access to know that all humans suffer in some form or fashion. And when we know that we are part of the grand tapestry of life, um, and that suffering is real to some, and it is part of life. Pain is part of life. Suffering is choice. Um, and knowing that we are all connected, compassion is a way that we can find within ourselves that one who's more compassionate towards ourselves and other. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
So,
Well, it's true. Everyone is suffering in one way or another. not just humans, in animals.
Yep. Animals, and that's right. Yeah. So
It's nice to have that big heart that can
yeah.
be open and send this love
Yeah.
that is so
Love
needed.
back to you.
Yes.
Yep. I think it does. And it also gives us perspective. Compassion just allows us to see that um, there is something that loves all and excludes none, like the sun's rays. Like the rays of the sun, the rays of the sun never say, I'm not going to shine on that person because they are unworthy or don't deserve it, regardless of the things or what they've done in this life. Sorry. So regardless of what they've done, it the sun just says, yes, I will give. So
That's
can you still see
wonderful.
me? Yeah.
Yes. And what was
Okay,
the
good.
fourth one? Yes.
So friendliness, compassion, non-judgment.
Oh,
So
non-judgment. Oh, that's a tough one, I
mhm.
guess. To
Non-judgment
master.
can be, and non-judgment is not, so judgment does have a place, right? Because we have to have the ability to judge between, let's just take driving a car or, I'm a householder, right? And I would imagine you're a householder. You don't live in an ashram, right? Or do you?
No.
No. So it gives us the ability to be able to um, make decisions and differentiate one from another. Judgment is actually a blessing because without it, how could we differentiate time from space? So it's when judgment becomes how we operate, and when the little egoic mind that has to defend or make right or justify or make wrong or be attached, and that all that judgment gets stirred up and created from those aspects, um, that we can become a little bit trapped in judging ourselves, judging
Mhm.
others, being harshly critical of ourselves. And that it is more difficult to practice non-judgment. And, Yoga Sutra 133 basically says that, non-judgment towards those who are maybe not living in the world in a way that is helpful to other people.
Right.
So not having judgment about that, because sometimes I know in where I live in the United States, there can be a lot of judgment around, let's say, politics, or judgment around how other people are doing things. And it's really better well, how I practice it is like, let's not use judgment as a way to see ourselves as better than other people.
Well, that's nice.
Let's you Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
really be in touch with compassion.
Mm. Once I was listening to somebody talking about somebody else in a very judgmental way, and I noticed that I judged the person that was talking. And it was like, oh my God. So I'm judging somebody else for being judgmental. How about me? What's going on here?
That's beautiful, because that's where it's like, oh, maybe I was the one who engaged in that too.
Right, right. So with that, there's freedom for everyone to say what they need to say and hear what they need to hear. But it's not, oh, I'm a golden one, I'm a good one, I'm not judging, but you shouldn't be judging, right?
Right, right. And what I find to be true in experience of being alive is that those who pass hard judgment on others are probably the ones who are in a lot of pain internally.
Mm.
So they may need the most non-judgment, if you will. And even when I reflect on that within myself, if I'm harsh or critical with myself, you're like, oh, I'm the one who maybe needs to release or let go and become more present. And so that's the third attitude.
Okay. Yes.
And the fourth one is the joyful condition of mind.
Oh. Mhm.
Uh, so um, all humans are born innately with light and joy, and it is through acquired tendencies that we that light or that joy gets covered up by tendencies that are unhelpful. So, joyful condition of mind is finding that joy, and sometimes you may need a path by which to uncover the unhelpful qualities. And so, that is where the Vishoka meditation that I practice and teach is a way to uncover some of that. And it's done through breathing and mindfulness, as well as four yogic pillars of living and um, relaxation.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I can feel that, what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm. It's like being a child and just innocent and playful and fun and caring. And then
Yeah,
suddenly somebody says something and go, oh, I need to hide
I need to
or
hide. Mm-hmm.
pretend. And then, we grow up and we have to undo all these conditionings.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So, do you help people like in groups or one on one? Or how do you work?
Well, right now, I mean, I can help people one on one.
Mhm.
They can book a discovery call on my website if they'd like. That's the four attitudes. It's spelled out TheFourattitudes.com. I'm like, how do I spell that?
I will put the
That's
links in the
what.
description.
Like, what was that? That's one way. And they can sign up for my newsletter too. That is called The Divine Times. And that's all about it's consciously created content around bite-sized chunks on practice, practice of the four attitudes and mindfulness, meditation, contemplation, health, wellness. So that's another way they can um, engage. So,
That's beautiful.
thank you. Hmm. So, yeah.
I find it's nice to talk, but it's some different quality going on here where there's really just exchanging something deeper without any words. That words are kind of, yeah, they can be here and this conversation is with words, but there's something else going on as well.
Mm.
Kind of wants to keep the mind quiet, like, oh, just listen to this. There's something sweet.
Right.
Tune
There's
in.
something sweet.
Yeah, real sweetness coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's mysterious how two souls are brought together in resonance, right?
It's the same life, it's the same aliveness, same energy showing up as
Same.
different. different expressions, different waves in the same sea.
That's right.
So it's nice to, how they say, to be on the same wavelength, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. Love knows no bounds. Mhm.
And I ask this everyone, and I want to ask you, what would be your best advice for a seeker who is still stuck, let's say, in suffering, stuck in blaming, stuck in judging? And yes, you just gave us your tools or your view or how to work with it. But what would be your one most important advice for somebody that is looking to awaken?
I would say seek a teacher.
Oh, nice.
I would, because that was one of the things that helped me is I sought a teacher. I sought someone who knew more than I did, who was, and I still do, um, a little further on the path, who maybe uh, knew or understood how to practice in a way I didn't, and helped me really upgrade my philosophy of life,
Mm.
you know. So I would say seek a teacher, one. And if that's not possible, like use your breathing and yeah, there's a lot of beautiful books out there too that you could engage with. If if you are like really stuck in suffering or emotional or mental pain, I would definitely say see it depends on the level of the person. They could seek help from someone. I definitely say seek a teacher or seek help would be one of the big things because we are not alone, and truly we we are totally interconnected with each other. We think we're now, I do know we are islands of excellence, but at the same time,
Yes.
like there's nothing nothing we do without others. Think of our food. Our food is grown by someone waters the plants and harvests the food, and then we eat it. Someone, makes the electricity come on for us in our homes so we have warmth. Someone, like just really be aware that you're not alone, that we are interconnected. That's a that's important. And seeking a higher, like someone who you feel innately maybe has more understanding that can guide you. That's been really essential on my path of awakening.
I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
being on your own is, well, yes, you can say I am my own guru, right? I have the light within and it can guide me. But to get to know that, sometimes we need somebody to point it over and over again, where to look, where to find that inner guru.
that's right.
And the teacher
And the
is very
guru,
helpful for that.
that's right. And the guru is one who removes darkness.
Mhm.
So that's, the teacher that removes the darkness until you can find your, like you said, your own inner guru, your Adi guru, the teacher of all previous teachers. Until you're introduced to that, then sometimes you need external teacher to help you. And I'm so fortunate that I have those teachers and friends. And so
And
that's
how
what I'd
did
say.
you
I'd say
find your
seek it.
teacher, or did she or he show up in a magical way?
In a magical way. Let's see. Well, so I studied Chinese feng shui,
Mhm.
and I had a Taoist priest that was my first meditation teacher. And I really wanted to deepen my practices. And he refused initiation. He
Ah,
said, "Nope, you're not my student in that way. I'll teach you what meditation is, but I'm not gonna, you're not, you're not my student."
mhm.
So then I started studying yoga and um, mantra meditation, and I found a teacher and named Pandit Rajmani Tiganayat, and that's who I study with. It was just really kind of mysterious. I really wanted to understand how mantra awakens the mind and what it does, and so I sought help with that and met him. So still study with them today, um, and I'm in Sangha.
And did you
So,
find your answer? How mind awakens with the mantra? How does that work?
well, yes, and I'd say to people, as it turns out, you are what you seek. You just don't know it. You are your own, your own inner light is actually what you're seeking. You just need a way to get there, a way to calm your mind and senses and heart down so that you can be present to what you already are. Mantras are living machines or um, living, especially awakened mantras that have been passed from human to human throughout time. Um, and those, they just give a way for the mind to place itself, like the awake mind, the mind that we experience in the awakened, like when we're awake right now. It's a
Mhm.
place where the mind can rest. It can just rest in the sound, an awakened sound.
Hmm,
So,
very interesting. Let's say I like to listen to mantras on YouTube, but
mhm.
somewhere I heard or I read, I don't remember, that if a teacher gives you a mantra, it has completely different effect. It's something you receive from like lineages, and it's all infused with that energy. And it's not like you go on YouTube, listen to mantra, and here you go and you have a mantra. Is that true in your experience?
Yes,
Yes. Mm.
yes. There's a great book that Panditji wrote called The Mastery of Initiation and Mantra. And, there's a lot of mantras out there that people are saying on the internet and lovely, great. However, there's really only three unlocked mantras. And mhm.
And do you give people mantras? Like, do you
Yeah, I can give
pass
those
it
three
on?
mantras,
Yeah.
just those.
Okay. Can you give
I can,
me and the listeners this gift?
yeah, so a really beautiful mantra. It's so easy to practice,
Huh?
so lovely, is so hum.
So,
So, so hum, and it's just, you start with the breathing, and it's like, as you breathe in, it's the sound so, and as you breathe out, it's the sound hum. So, on the inhale, hum. On the exhale. And if you just follow the sound up and down through your nostrils silently, just the sound so hum. That's a really beautiful mantra. So hum makes the pause like we can have a micro pause in our breath. And so hum links the breath so that it doesn't have the pause. So then it's just one continuous breath from inhale to exhale. And so hum is so lovely.
I'm gonna try that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's this simplicity itself.
It's simplicity.
Hmm. Yeah, I like simplicity because it's just so accessible. Like it's here.
It's right here.
Mm. So all the complications, everything is going on in imagination, all these different ways to struggle in imagination. And here in reality, it's so simple.
It's simple.
And I think sometimes it's so difficult to accept that, you know.
It is. We get really attached to our ignorance. And sometimes we can be more friends with our ignorance than you know, we 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 like it. And you know, breathing practices can be a way in which we uncouple the attachment to our own ignorance.
Mhm. I was speaking to one of the teachers, yoga teacher, um, and she said like if you do 11 minutes every day of deep breathing, like very very slow deep breathing, then for 40 days your life will change. You will transform. I thought, wow, that sounds simple. Of course, it's not so simple to do it. If you if you have to take 11 minutes each day, it's so easy to forget or not enough time, not today. Like it's not simple, but I guess if you do it or anything, any breath practice, even this mantra practice for 5, 10, 11, 20 minutes each day, I think that's where they can transformation can really start happening.
Absolutely. Hmm. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be difficult. It may not be easy, but it does not have to be difficult. It can be just, make a resolution that I'm going to do this thing because I'm curious, and then just do it regardless of whatever comes up. And my first meditation teacher used to say, eating, sleeping, drinking, walking, meditating, it's just part of life.
Mm. That's not what I was
So,
taught. Meditation was never like in the equation.
no.
Mm. No. For me, meditation, when I heard word meditation, it was like, oh, you have to sit and you have to like do what? So I found all these sound technology, like holosync or binaural beats. Then I can sit with these sounds coming in and brain is just synchronizing to whatever is going on there. For me, that was like, yeah, I can do that. But other than this, no, it's too difficult.
Hmm.
But that was really
Yeah,
actually helpful because, when the brain was tuning in into these frequencies and relaxing, it could it could just go into these states without any listening after a while. So it was helpful. But that was my way, just technology. I love it.
and that's actually meditation too, because you can focus on one thing, whether it's the sounds, the frequencies to move you inward. Um, that's actually a form of a meditation. So yeah,
Now I
that's
just see
awesome.
it happening. I can be sitting and reading a book and I can be in those states or looking at my cats, washing dishes. Doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Hmm.
right now.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I'm curious about your family or your close people.
Mm.
Notice a shift in you? How did they respond to this kind, friendly, light
I think
thing
it's
going on?
subtle, but I don't know. Do you have children?
No,
You,
I have cats, a lot of them.
you have, oh, they're your cat children, your cat babies. So I have two children, a son and a daughter. And one of them lives with us, our son, and I've been married for 27 years to the same man. Um, and these are the places where I get the most teachings is living in a household. I'm living with some of the greatest teachers on the earth for me. They're
Mhm.
perfect because they teach me all about the things I need to work on. Also, for me, like cooking for them or being with them is a form of worship to whatever that consciousness is, and just loving them. Um, one way I've noticed like some subtle changes is my son. So he's in pilot school, and he has a room upstairs, but he has this thing on the wall, and it says, "I'm grateful to be where I am, doing what I am doing." And he's 23, but like, look at that, a 23-year-old young man practicing gratitude. Because I know these attitudes, they're innately ours as humans, but yet they can be contagious. It can be contagious to be loving and kind and grateful. It's in a contagious way, like we're all doing this together. So that's one way. Um, and I also experience a lot of joy just having them as my companions, physical companions on the path. Um, so yeah.
Wait, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mm.
I'll keep you in my heart and mind and just think and send you positive and loving light on your journey.
Thank you. And I'm returning it back tenfold.
I feel it.
Yeah, that is just a different way to look at the world and life and then everyone. And yeah, it doesn't have to be the old way. Like when you read Buddhist teachings, for example, life is suffering. Yes, it
Yeah,
is. Yes, it is. And yes, it is. But it is optional. And unless we find that it's optional, yes, life is suffering.
that's right.
Yeah, but when that optional becomes clear that, okay, I don't have to continue suffering anymore
Hmm.
because life is taking me where I need to be. I'm always where I need to be. It's no other place to be, like right here, right now. So when that struggle of pushing and pulling ends, that's where that opening happens to bring in joy, to feel that love, to feel that kindness. Yeah. And it's so refreshing to talk to you because you are shining that. You're shining that light. You know, it's not heavy. It's not
Mm,
like you need to push the mountains to release yourself from that burdens. It's so
yeah,
simple. So thank you so much.
thank you.
And I hope somebody
Thank
who
you.
listens gets that sweetness and is inspired by your book and, you know, maybe contact you and work with you and whatever you're offering in your way.
Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed being here, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And I wish you well, and I wish your listeners well as well.
Hmm. And do you have any maybe final words or something
Final words.
for now?
Let's see.
Hmm?
Um, like she said, like suffering is optional. You always have a choice in any given moment to be present or not, to choose joy or not, to be friendly or not. You have that choice. Human intention is so powerful. Make an intention that you will choose what's best for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. Until the next time.
Yay.
Thank you, Sondra. Bye.
Bye.